Major funding for mental health care in America was provided by the O'Brien family.
Hi, my name is Patrick Kennedy. I served in the United States Congress for 16 years, and I was honored to be the prime sponsor of a bill called the Mental Health Parity and Addiction Equity Act. This is a medical version of civil rights that says mental illness and addiction should no longer be left to the margins of healthcare, but rather integrated throughout our healthcare system. But I'm also a person in long-term recovery, which means for me that I have not had to drink or use drugs since February 22nd, 2011. I have lived the story of someone who suffered from alcoholism and drug addiction, but who's been able to be fortunate enough to get the supports that I need to now be able to live a life of recovery and sobriety, where I can break the family chain and cycle of addiction in my family so that my 5 children do not necessarily have to succumb to these illnesses simply because they have a medical predisposition to them. If we get in early, and if we know how to address these illnesses, we can avert the terrible tragedy that's taking too many of our fellow Americans' lives to suicide and overdose every year. I invite you to this conversation with all of these great experts and people with lived experience so we can learn more about how we should move forward, both as individuals, as members of families who are also suffering. And when one member of the family suffers, every member of the family suffers. And finally, as a nation, where we as a nation are losing too many of our fellow citizens, and we need to do more to save them and to build a stronger country in the future.
Thank you, Patrick. Hello, my name is Amy Kennedy. Today, we invite you to join us for a discussion about our country's growing mental health and substance use disorder crisis, a crisis that requires our concerted and immediate attention. In generations past, our parents and grandparents too often regarded these subjects with skepticism. However, in the wake of a pandemic that forced people across the planet into an unprecedented state of isolation, we can no longer ignore the necessity of mental health care. It is our sincere hope that this program will empower you, the viewer, to act in your own community in whatever capacity you can to provide support for your community members in need, increase acceptance of these topics and conversation, and allow yourself the care you deserve. Thank you for joining us. It's important that this discussion include a wide range of perspectives. Perhaps the most important, and often the least heard, are the voices of America's youth. In the fight for equitable and culturally competent mental health services, youth are often overlooked, victims to circumstances neither they nor their parents can control. A young person dealing with a mental health condition might face additional challenges if their family doesn't understand their illness or what they can do to help. In other cases, parents may have limited capacity to help their children if they are coping with their own mental health conditions or other challenges. Adults struggling with mental illness can find peer groups. Youth facing mental health issues can be isolated from their peers or worse, find that their peer groups are making things worse through bullying or other behaviors. In the following segment, we'll hear directly from young people and their caring adults in their lives. As you know, we're here to talk about how mental health has impacted your lives, and I'm so glad to have a variety of perspectives, both in school, out of school. Maybe you could start for us, Ralphie, and tell us a little bit about what it's been like to kind of get through your school day. What's been the hardest part at school when you're dealing with mental health?
When I don't have my medicine, it's hard for me to concentrate.
I bet. What does that look like kind of in the classroom? So let's say, is it a challenge for you during certain subjects? Is there a time of day that you find it most difficult?
Yeah.
When is it hard?
Like when I have to concentrate.
Do they ever reach out to you, Ralph, when Ralphie's having a hard time at school?
No, but there's been times when we're in a hurry to get ready in the morning, and I've went ahead and forgot to give him his medication, and I know that it's a struggle for him. Like yeah, we went ahead and just last Thursday, I walked in and I said, "My name is Ralph Cortez. I'm here to give the medication to my son. I want to give it to the school nurse." And around the corner, his paraprofessional or the assistant teacher, she heard my voice. She goes, "Is that Ralph Cortez's dad?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's me." She goes, "Yeah, we kind of thought something might be. He's having a challenging morning this morning, so yeah, it's definitely something that affects him and affects him being able to execute at school."